There's a new middle class rising in the Philippines, spurred by the current economic recovery. U.S. fast food companies have opened franchises in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Foreign investors regularly travel on domestic airlines. Sprawling call centers provide employment to thousands of Filipinos in major key city centers. Thousands of tourists from other Asian countries such as Japan and Korea, as well as Australia, Europe, and the United States arrive and depart every day at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. And you can't miss the sights and sounds of high-rise condominium construction in metropolitan areas. All these indicate that a new middle class is on the rise in this country. Today's middle class have organizational skills crucial to Philippines' economic future. If we want to reach this nation for Christ, we must reach these people. This challenge and the desire of leaders to usher their ministry to the next level of growth gave birth to the BGC Church Planting Initiative, the Decade of Change. The vision is to plant 60 churches and raise 12,000 disciples in middle-class communities in the Philippines during the next 10 years.
The BCP started 58 years ago in Cebu, and in the matter of time, we planted almost 400 churches up to this point. 90% of those churches are capacity challenged, meaning they have been planted small, they have been nurtured small, and they have been church for the last 58 years without palpable impact in the community that they have been planted. We would like to see the difference by planting middle-class churches, reaching the middle class first so that we'll be able to reach the lower echelon of society and the upper echelons of society, because the middle class has mobility both upwards and downwards.
One big difference between the old and the new, in the old they would send a pastor and his wife, for example, to plant the church, and the difference now is that we send a team. Today it's entirely different on how we do things here. We don't plant churches anymore, if we can say it, we launch churches.
Jesus is Lord of all. Jesus is Lord of all. Jesus Christ is Lord. Yes, He is Lord.
We are convinced that reaching the middle-class communities will propel our ministries beyond sustainability, create movement capacity, and will be a catalyst to transform society. The Decade of Change has broken ground in 5 key locations this year. Icthus Iloilo, a partnership church plant between Icthus Bacolod and Faith Church in Grayslake, Illinois, was the first to launch. The grand opening on February 10th at the Newcastle Hotel drew 180 adults in attendance. 30 committed adult members formed the core group that officially formed the nucleus of the new, recognized church. The mayor of Iloilo and other government officials welcomed the birth of the new church at the dinner fellowship the day before the launch Sunday.
Iloilo is becoming a metropolis in the next 5 to 10 years. We have this slogan in Iloilo, think big, think Iloilo. People of Iloilo are still very, very traditional, but the young ones who are coming are very, very open to change, especially new things of doing church.
The youths are going for the contemporary worship. They want live band. That's my expertise, is to put up a band, train youth, to teach them how to play guitar, drums.
5 new believers were baptized earlier that day.
Jesus is Lord of all. Yes, He is. Jesus is Lord of all. Jesus is Lord.
And a city motorcade announced the start of the new church.
Jesus is Lord of all. Jesus is Lord of all.
For the first time, have you heard that we're gonna have a motorcade when we launch the church? I don't think that ever happened before, but it did, and people got so excited about it, and the people in the city knew that a church is born.
The church planting couples from the cities of Cebu, Makati, Angeles, and Dagupan have set their public launch dates for later this year.
Dagupan is known as the academic center or the academic hub for the province of Pangasinan. We do not only plant churches here or to the cities where we are assigned, but we plant church planting churches.
Right now, we're at the entrance of the Clark Air Base. So right now, they're transforming the former air base into a investment hub like the call center or the outsourcing business here in the Philippines. The Decade of Change project is not only to do a church plant, but to church plant a church that would plant another church. So this is a big project for us because we believe that we will not only reach out Angeles City after 5 years, but rather we will also reach out the nearby cities and the nearby towns of Pampanga.
Cebu is the next biggest city of the Philippines, next to Manila.
Metro Cebu is composed of 4 clustered cities: the city of Cebu, the city of Lapu-Lapu, Mandaue, and Talisay. Last year, it has been called the hub of the middle class.
Magallanes is a growing business community. In the Philippines, most of the small-medium enterprise are owned by the middle-class people. And this businessman who owns small-medium scale business, they can create an impact in the lives of the poor people in the society.
The vision has been cast. Potential church planters from inside and outside of the BCP have expressed interest in joining the movement. In September, the Decade of Change needs 10 middle-class couples who will go through the assessment center, be trained, resourced, and deployed on or before the end of the year. Systems are in place so these churches will be sustainable and reproducible at the end of 5 years. Thereby, at the end of the decade, we will have 60 middle-class churches with at least 200 members, totaling 12,000 disciples from this middle class. The BCP leaders, after seeing the launch of the first church and deployment of 4 church planting couples, expressed conviction that the Decade of Change will define what BCP will become in the next 50 years.
Remember, our slogan is 60 churches in 10 years in key urban centers of the Philippines.